Hi everyone, welcome to another video, and today I want to talk about emotional intelligence and how to become more emotional intelligent. And I actually have an exercise for you at the end, so stay until the end of the video. But before, I want to talk about emotions and how to balance your emotions. And notice how I say balance instead of control your emotions, because I feel like there's this misconception that you have to be able to control your emotions. But there's this famous saying that goes like this: it's not about controlling your emotions, it's about not letting them control you. So what I want to make clear is that it's okay to feel your emotions, okay? It's okay to express your emotions. What it's not okay is to let them control you, to control your life, your behaviors, okay? So when it comes to feeling your emotions, especially the bad ones, we think, oh no, I have to control my emotions because otherwise they are going to take over my whole life, especially when we're sad or angry. It's very easy to let those emotions to control how we then show up in the world, in our relationships, and all of that. And I have for sure been a victim. Obviously I wasn't a victim, but it's just an expression, a victim of my emotions and letting them control my behavior or how I showed up in certain relationships. But the goal here is to allow yourself to feel them, okay, but understand they are emotions and that you can still control your own behavior, okay? And the most important thing is to learn to release them, okay? So when it comes to especially negative emotions, if you're sad, it's important for you to allow yourself to feel sad. Your emotions, your feelings are always valid, okay? Even if someone tells you, oh, I don't think you have a reason to be angry, you don't have a reason to be sad, it doesn't really matter. You still feel that thing, and that thing is valid, and you should allow yourself to feel that. But at some point, you need to allow yourself to release that thing. And I think the reason why sometimes we hold on to certain negative emotions is because that's the only way that we feel that we make them as valid emotions. So I have a reason to be sad, right? So I'm going to be sad. I have a reason to be angry, so I'm going to be angry. And then you prolong this for much more time than it's actually needed. So yes, it is valid to feel those emotions, and it is okay for you to feel them, but it's also important that at some point you just let them go, okay? And why is it that this is more important than to repress your emotions or to control your emotions? Because if you're trying to control them, you're not releasing them. So even if you fool yourself or you fool your brain into thinking that you have controlled them, that you have repressed them enough to not feel them, that's actually not true. And emotions get trapped in our bodies, okay? So if you're feeling a feeling of love, you usually feel it on your heart center. If you're feeling hurt or not confident or whatever it is, you might feel it in your stomach or your lower belly. Different emotions are actually related to different organs in our body. Some of them affect our lungs, some of them affect our stomach. So it's really important to not repress your emotions, to not try to control them, okay? It's important to always release them, okay? Make the energy flow through your body and not make them stuck in your body, because this then translates into disease, into pain, and eventually it's also going to translate into you overreacting over certain situations. So sometimes we think we're feeling a certain emotion because of something very specific that happened right now, okay? So I'm angry because someone said something to me that was hurtful, something like that. But sometimes it's not just about that person or that thing that they did or said. It's actually triggering an emotion that we have trapped in our body related to something very similar that happened in the past. So that's why it's important that you just keep always releasing those emotions for the benefit of your physical health, your mental health, and of your relationships. Okay. Obviously, when I say allow yourself to feel or to express your emotions, for example, if it's an emotion of anger or hate, I'm not saying for you to go yell at someone or be aggressive, okay? Even if you have to go into a room alone and just express, to yell and to just let it out, do that, okay? The important thing is that you feel it and then let it go. Don't hold on to that emotion for too long, because then it comes down to something else that I explained in another video about pain and suffering. Because pain is something that you experience, that everyone experiences in life. But suffering is optional, because suffering is when you allow your thoughts to keep replaying that situation, that hurtful situation, and you're prolonging the pain without it being necessary, okay? So something else that is important to understand is that emotions are very related to your thoughts, okay? So most of the times, most of the times, and I think I already explained this in another video as well, our emotions are triggered not by situations, but by our thoughts regarding situations. So it's not the situation itself, it's how we perceive the situation that is triggering a certain emotion, okay? So it's very important to understand exactly where that emotion is coming from. Why is it that you're perceiving that situation the way that you are perceiving it, okay? So this brings me to the exercise that I want to explain you. So something that you can do or start doing regularly if you want to become more if you want to become more emotionally intelligent, is that you can start doing this. So you can recall the last time that you felt a very strong emotion. Okay, it could be a good or a bad emotion, and you recall that feeling and you allow yourself to feel that emotion again. So if it was the last time that you felt a lot of love for someone, you can recall that and you can allow yourself to feel that love right now. Or if the last time that you had a really strong emotion was deep sadness, you can also allow yourself to feel that right now, okay? Allow yourself to be sad. But then think about where in your body are you feeling it? Okay, because sometimes we feel emotions and we don't even know exactly what they are, and that can also give us a clue to what kind of emotion it is. And I'll leave down below in the description, in the caption, what emotions affect different areas of the body. Okay, so feel exactly where that emotion feels. Is it in your stomach? Is it in your heart? Is it in your lungs? Where is it that you're feeling it physically? Become really aware to how you are experiencing that emotion, okay? And now try to remember, what thoughts were you having when you had this emotion? And here I'm not talking necessarily about the circumstances, although this could be beneficial. It could be whatever that happened that triggered that emotion in you. But think about, what was it that you were thinking, okay? And here's an example. For example, if you were sad because your boyfriend broke up with you, okay? So you're feeling deep sadness because you feel like you lost that person left you, okay? You could be thinking, oh, what made me sad is that my boyfriend left me. But go a little bit deeper. What were you thinking? Were you thinking, I'm never gonna see this person again? Or were you thinking, why do people always leave me? Were you thinking, I'm never gonna find someone again? What were the thoughts that were going through your mind at that time? And then go a little bit deeper and think, why is it that you were having those thoughts? Because sometimes and using this same example, if someone leaves you, a boyfriend or a husband or whatever leaves you, you may associate that not with that person leaving exactly, but do you suddenly feel like you're not lovable? Did that person make you feel like you're not worthy of love? Did it remind you of all the times where you were left by someone, where you felt abandoned? Okay, so go a little bit deeper and try to find out exactly what is that emotion trigger, what triggered that emotion, not just the situation, but your thoughts behind it and more things behind those thoughts. Okay, and by doing this exercise, you begin to understand yourself more. Okay, you bring awareness, you bring light into shadow. Okay, because so many of the things that trigger certain emotions are in the shadow of our minds, and we don't even know that we have all of that programming that influences so many things in our lives. Okay, so by bringing that light into the shadow and bringing awareness into those things, you begin to understand yourself more, you begin to understand your emotions more, and you begin to heal them. Because if you find the root of what it's really causing you, that thing, that emotion, then you can heal it. Like, for example, if you realize that it's triggering you that fear of abandonment, then where did that come from? What were the situations in your past that made you be so afraid of abandonment? And then you can heal yourself and give yourself whatever it is that you need to heal that part of yourself. Okay, so the going within is always the solution to heal your emotions, to balance your emotions. And when you become aware of these things, you then don't allow your emotions to control your life anymore. Okay, so this is basically what I wanted to explain, that it's important to understand where those emotions coming from. Even more important, that it's okay to feel your emotions, okay, and that it's important to release them as well, to not prolong the suffering. Obviously, here I'm using a lot of examples of negative emotions. This also works for positive emotions, okay? But obviously, we all have more difficulty in dealing with negative ones. So this is why I'm focusing so much on that. Okay, so yeah, this is what I wanted to tell you. If you have any questions regarding this, please let me know. And yeah, really hope you liked it. Bye.